Hi, this is Eric Martin with Board Game Geek. I'm here with Kevin Nesbitt from Mercury Games, looking at the 10th anniversary edition of Container, with Kevin's name on the box.
There you go.
Designed by Thomas Ewart and Franz Benno de Long.
Right.
Originally released in 2007, and now redone on a grander scale, I guess I would say.
Yeah, or we call it Jumbo. Some people like or don't like that name. It's I believe 50% larger. So we tried to aim for somewhere between really cool without being silly, right? So there's some people maybe agree or disagree with that policy, but we feel that when there's stuff to move around, this game was about loading and unloading and moving around. It is easy and nice to pick something a little bit bigger, a little more solid. It's a tactile kind of game. So.
Okay. Maybe you can give an overview of the game for people who do not know it.
Absolutely. So in this game, you are running a warehouse, and you're running a factory, and you're running a shipping company. And the end goal is to supply this island, which is needing goods, with those goods. And every player will get a card telling them, for example, here. I don't know if you got that right there. For example, telling them what are the goods worth to them on their island at the end of the game. And so that's a dollar value. Okay. And so the one main rule in this game is you can never buy from yourself. And so you're always forced, if I have goods for sale at my factory, well then they're going to have to go to a warehouse, but they can't go to my warehouse. They have to go, so someone has to buy these from me. So I have to give them a price between 1, 2, 3, and 4, and I leave those for sale. For example, there's a black container for sale for $2. Okay. And in your turn as an action, you may say, you know what, I want to buy, that's a good price. I want to buy that from my warehouse. And so you would take that, you move it to your warehouse.
I would move it over.
Sure, you can go here or whatever.
We'll pretend that Kevin bought something.
Yeah, and so now you set a price. Now you bought it for 2 and you sold it for 2. Maybe that's let's go 3. So you're going to earn profit here.
Yes.
And so now you've got it for sale for $3. And now I or another player can say, you know what, $3 is a pretty good price. And incidentally, these containers, as you can see from this player's card, are worth 6 on the island. So if I can have that for 3, well, I'll pull my boat into the harbor and I'll buy that for $3. Thank you very much. And now maybe I head out to the island. At the island, we have an auction, and it's a sealed bid auction, and anybody can buy it, including the person dropping it off. That's the one time you're allowed to buy your own goods. Right. So everybody else makes a bid, a sealed palm bid, and then you show them to me. Now I have a couple of choices. I can accept the bid, and that's great. And because this island is government subsidized, because they have a hard time getting goods, they're going to match whatever the top bid is. So if you offer me $5 for that, I'm actually going to be receiving 10 if I sell them to you. Okay. Conversely, I can simply say, you know what, $5, that's great, but I really need that on my island for whatever reason, and so I'll just pay the $5 myself. But now the government says, well, we're not going to subsidize your own purchases, and so right. I've given up 10 and paid 5, so I better really like that container, and then that would go on my island. Now at the end of the game, I mean, maybe we should collect nothing but $10 containers, but it doesn't work that way, because at the end of the game, your part of the island will have a glut of at least one of these colors, right. And it's the one you've collected the most of. So you can't just collect all 10s, because that's going to get thrown overboard. It's been oversupplied. There's just too many of them, and so you have to kind of shield the higher ones with the lower ones. So just because it's a $2 container, you still may want to buy it because it protects the higher containers. Okay. So yeah, so the game just works with simple actions. You can move the ship, you can make a purchase, you can sell it to the island, but the ramifications for the economy are I mean, it runs. It's a fairly legendary economic system, because it's not a forgiving economy. You can crash the economy into the ground, and then there's very little money liquidity, or you can have an economy that's super wealthy and money gushing everywhere. It changes from game to game, and it's entirely based on the players and their decisions and the prices they're selling for.
Okay. Maybe you can say, what is the new add-on investment?
That is a great question. So it's actually right here. There are some cards that go with it, and these are here. And so at the start of the game, this is an investment bank, and its main focus is to operate as a central bank within a government. Okay. So it's going to start with a certain number. I believe it's 2, 1, and 1, and I believe it's 3, 2, and $1. I could be wrong about that, so don't hold me over that. And so there'll be $1 there. During the game at any time, someone can call an auction, and what they would do, they would mark the auction they're calling for. So in this add-on, you're always buying containers with money and money with containers. And so you would choose, okay, you know what, I could really use those, so I'm going to make that the auction, and then I would bid, in this case, money. So I bid some of my own money, and I'd say, you know what, that's those 2 containers, that's worth, I don't know, $4 to me, let's say. Now I'd mark that. Now if that stays in front of me. If that makes it around to me again, and by the start of my next turn that's still there, that bid was accepted by that investment firm. Okay. I then take the $4 and then distribute them one by one until they're all gone, and I take the containers and I put them into my personal storage harbor at that, I guess I'm blue, at that dock. I can then pick them up at any time, but I need to get them to the island to actually have them count for something.
Okay.
Conversely, later, if I say, well, now there's going to be a lot of money in that box right there, I'd really like to have that money. Well, I could take some containers, generally from my factory row, and I'd say, well, you know, I got these containers that are not selling real well. I'm going to bid, you know, I'm going to bid 3 containers.
Because you also have a limited amount of warehouse space and production
Right,
space.
and so you want to free up that space. So they're just not selling. So this card is subdivided by warehouses and factories, so you can always remember where you took them from. So I put them. There's 3 from the factory. Maybe in your turn you say though, but 3, that's a lot of money. 3 is just not. That's just not high enough. So you want to go 4. So for an action, you say I'm going to outbid that. So you would take the card. I would return these back to the factory from where they came, and I can reprice them wherever I want. And then you would say, okay, I'm going to go 4. And now you own the card. And again, if that ever makes it around to you again, now your bid is accepted, and you do the 1, 1, 1 until it's all gone. And so that central bank is the gas and the brake for the economy. And it can suffer along with the players, or it can excel. I've seen games where the central bank dominates with huge holdings, and the players are poor, and then conversely where it's very poor, and then the players are quite rich. So it's like a gas and a brake for the economy.
Okay, all right. Yeah, it's been a long time since I played Container. It's definitely, yes, the actions are simple, but what happens as a result of that? Like everything spins off everything else.
Yeah, it's impossible to give perfect strategy advice because it's so dependent on what everyone else is doing. If you're shipping, I mean, shipping's great, but if everyone else is shipping, it's not so good anymore, right? Maybe you should do something else. Maybe I should be the warehouser. And if everyone's got warehouses, well, I should probably don't want to build the next warehouse because they get more and more expensive as you build more and more. So maybe I should focus on factories. So it's really more of a best response kind of game, mutual best response. Yeah. So you do something, I do something else, and we kind of cooperatively and competitively try to determine our fate.
Yes. All right. And shipping now?
This one should be shipping in late May to pre-order customers. Should be to retail by probably late June. Yeah, so this is what we're very happy we've got it all finalized. I know our customers know that we've been working really hard on these ships, and so I'm happy to say we've got it now. And yeah, shipping out then.
All right. Thank you very much, Kevin.